my name is Shaq and I'll be teaching you how to build your very first web application through Python. We're going to be using a library called Flask today and an IDE called PyCharm. Alright, so head over to the website. I put the link in the description below and download this IDE. Trust me, it won't give you any viruses. I've gotten multiple requests telling me that, oh my god, my computer's been hacked by PyCharm. No, that's completely not true. Download this stuff, it'll make your life way easier. If you don't, you have an alternative. That is this shit you saw in the Matrix. Yeah, it didn't turn out very well for Neo, did it, huh? So, actually, it did, didn't it? Didn't it? No? I don't know. Alright, so, well, just download this stuff. It'll make your life super easy and install it. If you're having some troubles installing it, Google it. Send me some emails if you want to. Put my email in the link below. And yeah, pause this video, download it, and install it, and unpause the video. Alright, welcome back. I think that by this time you've installed PyCharm and you know all of Python. Just kidding. Alright, so we're going to go over to GitHub. GitHub is this library. It's called a repository, but in normal people's terms, it's this library for code where I can just put up code and people can download it. So all the code you're going to be seeing in this tutorial is going to be up on this GitHub account. And if you want to use it, you just go over to this green button and click downloaded zip if you don't know anything about code. And if you do know something about code, just clone this repository. For the people that are watching that don't know code, don't worry about what I said. Just click download zip and you're going to be fine. All right. So I've already opened up PyCharm Community Edition. Make sure you download the Community Edition unless your parents are like super rich and billionaires and you can afford the not Community Edition. Then buy it because the guy's freaking awesome. And you should see a screen like this. And you should not see anything to your left. The reason why you see all these things to your left is because I've used this before and these are all the files that I've saved. If you want to follow through and make this project by yourself, click Create New Project. If you just want to look at the code that I've written, open up that GitHub file. Right now, there's nothing in there, and I actually have it on my desktop on a folder called GitHub. I'll open up this file, and as you can see, literally nothing's in there except for this README file, which is just literally a text file. Yeah, see, here's a repository containing all the code for 3Caliber. 2Caliber is my company. I'll talk to you about that later. And then so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new directory under this parent folder, as you can see, 3Caliber snippets, and I'm going to call it SRC. SRC is short for source. I don't know why programmers don't use vowels. We're just weird like that. And then now you can see that that folder is blue, but for many of you that folder might not be blue. What you're going to see is you're going to see something like that, like a little dot. Just to change it, you want to change it to blue. Because what that does is it allows your Python file to talk to other Python files inside this whole IDE environment thing. So that's great. You've created a new folder. Create a new file and call it server under that folder. And .py is the extension for Python, so make sure you have that. What the pop-up you just saw there, it wanted to add stuff to GitHub, and so don't worry about that. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Just create a new file and call it server.py. Once you've got that, go to PyCharm, go to Preferences, and wait for it to load because it's going to take a while for it to load. Or maybe it's just my computer because it's really slow on my computer. There we go. And then go to Project, go to Project Interpreter, and click plus. And what we're doing is we're adding a new library. Right, so Flask is a library that we're going to use in Python. What a library is other people have coded functions already to make our lives easy, so we're going to use them. And what a function is just a piece of code that I can modularly use. Like a tire on a car, for instance, right? I'm not going to make my own tire. I'm going to go buy a tire and use it. But Flask is like you're buying literally the whole car and changing the color of the door. But we'll get to that later. Once you got that, and you've got this green stuff, and it says it's installed successfully, you click OK, you've got your empty Python file. What do you do with that Python file? Well, first we have to import that Flask library we just installed. How does that look? You say from not form, flask, import, flask. This may look weird, but what we're doing is we're opening the Python file flask and we're importing a function in there called flask. It's weird and it's redundant, but if you don't understand it, don't worry, because we're going to have a web server running and you'll understand this stuff over time. Don't freak out. All right, so next we're going to create a variable. This is how you create a variable called app, and we're going to assign it an object called flask. Objects are like tires and doors, like the stuff that I told you before. A tire is an object. A door is an object, right? And so in programming, there are also things called objects that allow us to do different things. Like for a tire, the multiple things that you could do, right? You could inflate the tire. You could put the tire on the car. You could do a lot of things. The same thing with programming. You can do a lot of things with these objects. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to use a function called inflate. Just kidding. It's not called inflate. It's called route. We're not talking about tires. We're talking about programming, right? And then so what we're going to do is we're going to route it to slash. What that does is it's going to say whenever you put slash after our URL, which is a uniform resource locator. We'll go over that all later, so don't worry about it if you don't understand. Then it's gonna show this. We're gonna create a new function. This is how you create a new function. You say def, and then you say hello. We're just gonna name it hello. You can name it whatever you want. You could name it, I don't know, cats in pink tutus if you want to. But you can name it whatever you want, and we're going to say return, which is a way that a function like returns something. Hello. Yeah, why not? So you've essentially coded your first Flask application. That's literally it. But when you run it, nothing's going to happen. You're going to see exit 0, right here. What that means is that everything's good and none of your code is bad, but your server's actually not running. How you run your server, remember, it goes back to objects, right? So say this Flask is like a car. We've got to tell our car to start, right? So what we do is we say if this variable name is main, run the server. How do we do that? Well, we do app, which is our variable name, .run. And what that does, when I rerun it right here, just click run right there, it opens up this thing. It says running on whatever that is. That's actually a URL, like google.com, but it's made up with numbers. We'll go over IPs, we'll go over all that later, but when you click on this, it's going to open up a browser and it's going to say hello. And that's the coolest thing in the world. I can change this and I can say my name is Abhishek, right? Rerun it, it's going to load up. Reload the page. Hello, my name is Abhishek. And there you go, folks. You've created your first web application. Thank you, and until next time, have a great day.